Hey everybody, this is Wendy with SCORE Utah, and we have had a lot of requests today for social media direction, marketing. How do I do this? How do I apply it to my small business? How do I grow my business? How do I grow followers? And so I am here to do a quick Social Media Basics 101, and this is going to be a series. So we're going to start with this and then we're going to go forward. So I'm going to transfer over here to another system so I can be recording this, and we'll just jump right in with these social media basics.
Social media can be broken down really easily, and it can be very accessible for all the business owners out there. I have done social media now for like the last 15 years, and it has evolved so much. As you all know, we're in the middle of COVID. So I'm filming this right now in October of 2020. And a lot of you are struggling in your business with either you're having to pivot and create a new business, or you are in the middle of your business and realize that you've had to go 100% virtual. And so you're trying to attract a different audience. And regardless of where you sit on the platform of social media is a must, particularly now during this time of a global pandemic, because people are either quarantined or they're just reverting into the social commerce world of e-commerce, social media, shopping on Instagram, shopping on Facebook. One of my dear friends, she says, if you had any idea how many products I buy from Instagram, your head would spin. And so if you're not in this bracket of marketing effectively through social media, then you're losing money. And now is not the time to be losing money. So it's really important for us as business owners to definitely be in this world of knowledge and to empower ourselves with how to make social media help us be profitable and raise the awareness around what our brand is, who we are, what we stand for, and how we can help solve these levels of pain for the consumer. Because that's the whole idea behind your marketing strategy, is you have something that solves a problem. And so whatever that pain is for your consumer, you have an answer. And social media is your means to articulate that you have an answer. And so it's so important, but it is also so vast and so deep. So we're going to start this off with the basics of social media. And we're going to cover Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, Twitter, and YouTube. Those are the basics. And hopefully we can get to most of these in this quick webinar. We're going to cover our followers. We're going to cover ad spend. We're also going to go into Facebook groups versus pages. And we're going to go into Instagram versus, let's see, the personal Instagram page versus your business page, and then IGTV and what has now just come out, which is Reels. And there is a lot of information there. So you can take some notes if you want to, but I think the greatest level of achievement is going to be attained by watching this video maybe all the way through once, and then sit down at your laptop, turn the video on just with volume, and hit pause. And so when I tell you something, like when we're talking about Instagram, I want you to pause this, go to your Instagram account. If you haven't created one, you're just going to have me pause, and you're going to create your Instagram account and your password. And then you're going to come back to this video. You're going to hit play, and I'm going to tell you the next step. And then you're going to pause me, and you're going to go back to your Instagram account and implement the next step. And I have found the greatest success in learning all these tools of the trade is play, pause, implement. Play, pause, implement. So I really feel like you'll have great success if you just kind of follow that concept. So first of all, why do we have marketing, social media, all these things? And like I said a few minutes ago, you have a product, you have a service, you provide something to a consumer or an individual or a corporation, and it solves something they're battling, struggling, it's a pain point for them, and you have that solution for them. And in this day and age, if you are not on these platforms, it's going to be a struggle to get the message out. A lot of people used to pursue exhibits, events, networking meetings, and all of those things have been nixed. And so all of these social media platforms have now become our networking events. They have become our training modes. They have become our Zoom meetings. They've become our board meetings. They've become our conferences. Like social media through Zoom or through Instagram or Facebook or IGTV or Reels is how we are connecting and communicating with our network and with our customer. And so it is imperative that you have this. So if we start back at the beginning, the first thing you want to have is, well, the first thing you need to have is a personal page. So you want your personal page on Instagram, personal page on Facebook. You can have a business page on Pinterest, personal or business on Twitter, and then a YouTube studio for either yourself personally or the name of your brand. YouTube, we're not going to dive into too deeply today because you have to get 1,000 followers on your YouTube channel before it's even going to do you any good. And so I would put YouTube down here unless you have like trainings, like classroom type things or training knowledge, like if you're a knowledge broker, an educator, YouTube channel might be something you want to push for right away. But so our main focus is going to be Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, and Twitter. And the first recommendation I'm going to give to you guys is be organically grown. So my first counsel is if you are spending money on advertising right now and you are not already at a 6-figure level with your numbers in business, then quit spending money because you're pouring it down the drain. There is no reason to give Facebook $50 or $20 to boost a post to hopefully target some marginalized demographic that you haven't quite identified until you're hitting 6 figures on your income or on your revenues. And what we have found for my organization is that if we were to do an ad spend of $1,000, we would typically generate $8,000 to $10,000 in revenues, and over the course of the month. So not in a day, just in a month. And so if you're not at that playing level, then save your $20, save your $50, save your $100. You're literally just lining the pockets of these huge entities. And so save your money until you hit that place where you're like, I can part with $1,000 easily. So I'm kind of like getting ahead of myself. Let's go back into here. You want to have a personal Facebook page, personal Instagram page. You need to have both of those so that you have some followers being generated for you personally. They need to know that the outside watchers and viewers need to know that you're human. They need to know that you have a life, that's outside of this business. They need to know that you're genuine, that you're somebody they can connect with, that maybe your morals and values and ideals and platforms and positioning that you take in the world today is similar to the things they stand for. And so the personal aspect of Facebook and Instagram is vital. It's kind of like the lifeblood for launching your groups into, for launching your business Instagram page into, and things. It's vital. So make sure you have your Facebook and Instagram page built for yourself personally in your name. And I'm not saying you have to put on there the food you ate, unless you're a foodie person or a wellness coach. You don't have to have like, I drove my kids to school. You don't have to have these personal things on there that you're like, I'm not ready to share this. I'm just saying they need to see that you're real, that you're not just some bot out there trying to be OT, trying to just kind of like pull them in and lure them in to sell to them. And one of the real statistics with the algorithm that's currently running for all these platforms right now is a sense of community, a sense of engagement, a sense of connection. And that is being measured by if people make comments on the things you're posting, if people take it, share it, and make a comment or a post as they share it. Like they're not just sharing it to their page, but they're sharing it and saying, wow, when I read this quote, it really resonated with me. And that's what's getting measured. And so if what is getting measured is how much of a community is being formed and how much engagement is going back and forth between the people that like you or follow you, then you really need to be on your A game with your personal messages. And in addition to the personal messages on the business pages, you need to be saying more than here's this, buy this, here's this, buy this. Your business side and your postings within your business page and your Facebook groups and your Facebook pages need to resonate with these potential consumers from a service-oriented mindset. And so you can't just say, here's this t-shirt, buy it. Here's this jewelry, it's pretty, it's gonna look good on you, buy it. You need to be putting posts on your business feed and in your groups and on your pages that actually invite engagement. So, hey, I just got this order in. I have some of them in red, some of them in pink. Which color do you like? And they have polling as an option on Instagram, and questions and survey things. And you want to be tapping into those and really generating like, I'm interested in your opinion. I want to know what you think about this. Here's my thoughts. Or I just learned about this. Did you know this? So any of the did you know questions or have you ever questions or what are your thoughts? That's going to cause the person scrolling through your feed to kind of stop and go, oh, wow, they want to know, which color I like. They want to know if I like V-neck or crew neck. They want to know if I paint my nails with gel or with acrylic. They want to know this about me. And so they'll pause and then they'll type in an answer. And that is what is being measured through the algorithm right now. So that's why it's really, really critical that your posts are engaging, that they beg for a response or a question, and that like your thought cards, your quote cards, your content that you're putting out there, make sure it's something where somebody else that sees it is gonna be like, oh my gosh, that's like so mind-numbing. I want to share that on my wall. And hopefully as they go to share it, they'll say, just saw this quote and wow, did it hit me in my heart? Or read this thought or took this poll. What do you guys think? And then they ask their network and their audience. And that is what's getting measured. So that's why it's so important. So IGTV, that's something, if you're not familiar, it's Instagram TV. It is, if you're going to put a video, a live video, selfie taken up on your Instagram feed, that's awesome. I believe it's either 15 seconds or 60. I can't remember, but it has a limitation for time. If your video is going to exceed that time frame, it automatically is going to get popped into IGTV, which means people can start to watch it and then it's going to like stop. I believe it's 15 seconds. And so when it stops at 15 seconds, if you leave them in a cliffhanger moment, nobody wants to be hung there. Nobody wants to be left going, wait, what? Wait, finish your thought. And so it'll continue in IGTV and they can swipe to continue watching it. and it's very engaging. So IGTV is great for those of you who are maybe sharing a step process or a learning or some tutorial, or hey, how would you like to grow your Instagram page? Here's some of the tips and tricks I've learned. That's where IGTV is huge. And that other thing you want to be aware of that is your captions. Your captions, meaning closed captions, you know, where the words are coming up underneath the video, that is critical. I'm sure most of you know this by now, but if you don't, when your videos go up, they go up muted. And typically when people are scrolling through IGTV or scrolling through their Instagram feed or their Facebook feed, as they're scrolling, all the videos are muted. And that's like the fallback. That's just pre-programmed. And so if you don't have like a title that's, you know, typed up like Instagram solutions for 2020, Instagram for 2020 could be your title. And if that isn't just bold and upfront, then they're just going to scroll right past you. And so you want your title and your captions to be on there. Those captions can be automatically put on through a diction service that is provided. You just have to go into your settings and select it that you want, you know, captions to be on. You can also send stuff to different apps and stuff to get the words to pop up on the screen below your video. But then as you're making the video and getting ready to post it, Instagram will ask you what the title of it is. So make sure your title is really engaging and, you know, begs the person who's scrolling really quick to kind of stop and go, oh, does this apply to me? So that's just a really important feature that I want you aware of as you are creating your content. Several of the questions I had over the last few weeks have been, I don't really have anything to say. I don't even know where to start. How do I know if this is what my audience wants to hear? And those are great questions. Your audience wants to know you. They want to see your authenticity. So, like if you're a person that sells jewelry, if you go into these two feeds, and so I'm focused mostly on Facebook and Instagram right now. If you're in those two platforms and all you're doing is posting pictures of necklace, bracelet, earrings, necklace, bracelet, earrings, and you know, maybe they're beautifully done. They're done on these gorgeous models, or maybe they're just, hey, I really want to target like every woman everywhere. I'm so tired of the model image. And so you're creating these visuals and images of your jewelry on, you know, every size, shape, and female body that's out there. And your platform is, I don't want body image to be a halt for whether or not a person buys jewelry or buys this clothing. So you just have all these gorgeous pictures of these girls just in a raw, natural, organic setting with these really great collectible pieces. That's awesome. But what your consumers want to know, what the people that are going through your feed want to see, is that you're multidimensional. And so you don't want to have the Instagram feed and the Facebook feed be solely populated with jewelry shots. You want them to know, like, say you support a nonprofit that helps women rescued from sex trafficking. So you're going to have, it works best, Instagram feeds work best in visuals of 5 because of how the post will line up. And so let's say your first box is going to be the jewelry picture. Your second box is then going to be what you're supporting, you know, real women everywhere. Your third box is going to be a quote that resonates with you or supports, you know, raw woman everywhere. Your fourth one might be jewelry tips, how to keep your jewelry clean, how to take care of your jewelry, jewelry tips for those broken pieces, how to know if something is real gold versus gold plated, just jewelry tips. And then your fifth one is going to kind of branch out into this, here's who I am and here's what I stand for. And so your fifth box might be, I am really passionate about women rescued from sex trafficking. What I have learned is, and maybe you share some statistics that you've learned about the sex trafficking industry, or maybe you say, I'm supporting X organization, and so 10% of the proceeds from our sales this month are going to go to that organization. So your fifth category is going to be something you're passionate about. So you're technically only selling to the consumer 1 out of every 5 posts. And what that does is that creates an all-encompassing, like, oh, this person isn't just trying to sell to me. This person is multidimensional. This person loves the same quotes that I love. This person is educating me. They're offering a service to me by letting me know how I can take care of the jewelry I already have, even though I haven't even bought anything from them. This person is completely passionate about women who are in a disadvantaged situation. And all of a sudden, they become followers in every sense of the word. They are engaged with what you stand for. One of these 5 areas resonates with them, and they all of a sudden have a connection to you outside of whether or not they're buying from you. And that's huge. That's when your consumer becomes your community. That's when your consumer all of a sudden is saying, I want to share this with my sister. I want to share this with my family members. I want to share this with my neighbors. Like, hey, have you guys heard about, this XYZ jewelry store? She totally believes in helping women, or she gives the best tips on how to fix your broken pieces of jewelry. And so there's different layers that she can share about you, different layers she can connect with you, different layers that she can promote about you. And that is what creates all these little little algorithms to pop in and be like, oh, people are really sharing this. Wow, this is really good content. This might resonate with other people. And then they kind of raise you up in the social media platform and spill you out to other areas. So when you're talking about your Instagram or your Facebook feed, don't focus on just how much can I shove this into somebody's face. Focus more on how many different areas, and preferably, again, 3 to 5, preferably 5, how many different areas of who I am as an individual and what I stand for can I share with the world outside of here's my jewelry, buy it. So that is my biggest tip, is to get your feed populated with multidimensional arenas that will resonate with the masses. Because if you're just trying to sell, it's never going to work. So I'm going to erase this right now, and we're going to go into some of the ways that you can use, because if you have tapped into social media at all, and if you haven't, I should probably do a really, really basic tutorial on how to tap into it. But hopefully those of you watching this, you have established an Instagram account, you have a Facebook account, minimally, that hopefully you're there. Now we're going to go into the algorithm and how it's measured. And the reason I highlighted Pinterest is because this is one that bit us in the shorts. We were, and this is close to a decade ago. So it happened a while ago. We were generating a lot of revenues through our website, doing pay-per-clicks, and just kind of watching our social media feeds and seeing what was going where and why, and just checking out those analytics like every week. And we all of a sudden heard back from our analytic guy, and he's just like, wow, your Pinterest page must be so popular. 82% of your sales on your website are coming from Pinterest. And we all were like looking at each other going, Pinterest? We don't even have a Pinterest account. And what had happened is a girl had taken one of our items and placed it on a pin board and had put, a backlink to our website with this baby outfit and these baby moccasins and then this piece of jewelry. And so all these 3 items were backlinked, and that thing had gone viral. And so people were coming into our website from her Pinterest post, which was backlinked to our website. Who knew? Like, we were just going, oh my gosh, we need to get a Pinterest page. And so we did. We built a Pinterest page and started populating it with pictures and trying to find people that we could kind of partner and strategically align with, because we do have jewelry. And so it was, okay, who could we partner with, like, that has clothing or that has shoes, or maybe people who do like runway shots or modeling, like who could we start highlighting in this Pinterest page to really expand our reach. And so that is like gold. That is information that you can't put a price on, is when you suddenly find yourself learning and knowing, where is my target audience coming from? And the reason I bring that up is because everybody tells me, well, sorry, shouldn't use these extreme. Whoops, not leaders. Over the last several weeks, what people have been saying to me is, I am wearing all the hats. I do not have the time, the energy, the bandwidth, the creativity to go make a post on Facebook, go do a live video on Instagram, go do a post into Twitter, and it has to be a certain amount of characters, go do a reel, go create my beautiful little Pinterest thing that people actually want to pin and mimic. And I was just like, totally get it. Later.com, just like the word Later, later.com is your new best friend. We discovered this platform May or June, I guess. So very recently. And this is awesome. So actually 2 things. I'm going to give you the other one. Canva, Canva.com. And I'll have these links posted in here. So later.com and canva.com are phenomenal. First of all, content creation. Canva.com allows you to create, and they have already taken, like, if you want to do an Instagram post, you click on Instagram format. If you want to do a Facebook post, you click on Facebook format. And if you want something to go up on like a YouTube video or whatever, if you want to do a banner, if you want to do a business card, whatever you want to create, they know the dimensions that it needs to be so that you get the greatest quality output from it. And the great thing about it is, if you like create it as an Instagram post and you're saying, okay, I'm also going to be posting this to Facebook, once you download it, it reformats it. And then what you do is you load it into later.com, and later.com is a scheduling app. And so you spend 2 to 4 hours once a week until you get the rhythm, right? And you create your content. And we're going to go into content creation and calendaring. Maybe in the next video, I'll try to touch base with it, and scheduling. I'll try to touch base on it here in a minute, but you will upload your image from Canva, and in Canva, you can select your photo. They have stock images. You can put your own image in there, but they give you all these awesome pre-done templates. So you're not sitting there trying to figure out, how am I going to be creative here? For us, we selected 4, maybe 5, can't remember. But we selected a specific number of templates, and those are the templates, and know your color palette. So we have our color palette, we have our font, we have our photos that we've uploaded into Canva, and then we have these templates that Canva provided. And all we have to do is drag that template over, change to the new words, the thought card, the jewelry tip, the artisan highlight, whatever we're working on. And we just change it up for the next week's thing. And then later.com allows you to put it in a scheduled time slot on a specific day. So we're not going into our social media every morning creating a post, sticking it up there, and hoping it gets viewed. When you follow this template format for 2 weeks, so this is your 14 days, and I cannot reiterate this 14 days enough. That 14 days, what Later will do for you is after 14 days, it will send you an analytics report on when your followers were looking at your page or your posts, what time it was, and your peak times, and how much engagement it had. You guys, you can't put a price on this information, because this is going to allow you to be more effective with your social media posts and marketing and engagement from that point onward. But you have to do it for 2 weeks before you're going to get a report from later.com. So you're not going to know the analytics for 2 weeks. So you've got to commit to yourself that I am committed to finding these social media answers and what's going to make me successful within social media. You have got to commit to that for 14 days. And if I can do it, you can do it. Guaranteed, you can do it. So this 14 days is magical, because after that 14 days, you're going to get this analytics report for Facebook, Instagram, however many platforms you've chosen to be posting to. And this analytics report is going to say, you were posting at 10 a.m. and 3 p.m., but actually you didn't have any engaged followers. They were actually looking at your post at 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. And you can be like, oh my gosh, I've got to start scheduling my post for 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. instead of 10 and 3 p.m. And so that right there is golden, because you want your post to be hitting when people are looking at your page. The other thing that's awesome is the engagement. And so we have these 5 boxes that we generate, every day. And what the analytics told us was this post had this type of engagement, like 147 people, and 14 of them shared it, and you got 9 likes or 9 followers on your page because of this post. Or this post actually dropped your numbers and you didn't have any engagement around it, and nobody was making comments, nobody shared it, and they didn't even view it until 2 hours later, or didn't view it at all. That is just golden information. I can't say that enough, because that allows you as the creator to pivot and make those changes that are going to allow you to be a more effectual marketer. And if your whole overarching goal is, I want to get more engagement, or I want more followers, or just identify what your goal is. Sometimes it's, I want to, have better ROI. Sometimes it is, I need to increase my followers. Whatever your overarching goal is with social media, later.com will provide 90% of the answers for you. With us and the pictures and different quote cards and things that were shared, our eyes were open to, okay, we need to create more around this theme of consciousness and social awareness versus spontaneity and curiosity. So it answers where you need to be pivoting because of what the audiences are looking for. And that is how you grow, because you start tapping into the mindset of those individuals who are following you. So again, later.com, canva.com, and I'll put those in the feed here so you can see them. Another thing that is really helpful for creating your social media strategy, what we did as an organization is, let me tap back into this content creation and scheduling, because this is going to flow right into what I'm about to tell you. Content creation seems really overwhelming to people. I've heard several times the last several weeks, I'm not creative. I don't really have anything to say. I don't know what my audience wants to hear. Those are all valid things. We all have those fears around, is this going to be good enough for my audience to either like it, resonate with it, share it? or just feel good from what I'm trying to serve them with. I don't know of anybody that's immune from I've got this nailed in, dialed in, down, like it's gonna be awesome no matter what. We all have insecurities, especially when it comes to social media posting. And so getting your content creation dialed in once a month, once a week, or once a year, you choose. We have a social media calendar that we create. So December hits, and our busy months are pretty much February until December. We have a little bit of lull in summertime. So you need to identify when it's going to be a good time for you to sit down and scale out your calendar. But in December, we will take, and I'm not even kidding about this, we will take 3 to 5 days. And I huddle with 5 to 8 different people. So I don't just rely on my own brain. I love brainstorming with others. And we look at the upcoming year. So in this instance, in December 2020, I will take the day after Christmas, December 27th, 2 days after Christmas, and I will say, okay, I'm going to feed you guys lunch and you just come to my house. We're going to brainstorm out the next year. And we will pick an overarching theme. And this theme is going to cover the entire year. So that theme is kind of like, okay, like this has been a really tough year, 2020. So I'm just throwing this out there. I should use what we've done in the past, but let's look forward into the future. So this has been a tough year for a lot of people. So we're probably going to take the word pivot, and we're going to say 2021 is going to be our year of pivot. Or maybe it's going to be our year of gentleness. Maybe it will be our year of acceptance, just accepting that 2020, let's not go into that, but 2020 was tough for a lot of people, and now it's a new year. So that will be our overarching theme. And then what we do is we break that down over the course of 12 months. And for us, we identify what happens in each of those 12 months, not only here in America, like holidays, Valentine's Day, first day of winter, first day of spring, Easter, proms, graduations. We factor in the holidays here on the American side, but because we work internationally, we also take into account what are holidays that are pretty prominent that happen in some of these countries we work in, and what month do they fall under. And then we take those holidays and those significant events that occur in that month, and we break those down into the 4 weeks. And at the beginning of each of those weeks for that whole month, we have a question. And this is a question we ask ourselves that typically surrounds what is happening for that month. So let's take, for instance, January. Our overarching theme for the year is pivot. And so January, our question that we're going to ask for the month that everything is going to tie back into. So it's going to tie back into our monthly question. It's going to tie back into our annual theme. And so our annual theme is pivot. Our monthly question for January is new year, new beginnings. How do we start fresh? That would be our overarching question for the month. And so the first week of January will be, did you set any new goals for the month of January? Or how did your 2020 end? What are the top 5s? What are the bottom 5s? And so we're going to have these questions percolating throughout that week. And then during that week, our posts that we engage our readership, our followers in, is going to resonate around that question. And then each question for the week will be different. So maybe the second week of January will be, we're hitting week 2. How are you guys feeling? Do you have clarity around where you want to move forward for this upcoming 2021 year? What are you happy to be letting go of? And so we'll just kind of keep asking these questions to ourselves, and our content for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday is going to tie back into those questions, which will tie back into our overarching theme, which was pivot. And so we're going to have our questions and those are weekly. And then we are going to have photos that encapsulate what all of this is about. And so maybe we'll have a photo of a planner, and maybe one of our questions on one of the days will be, did you remember to write down something you're grateful for? Or did you do a meditation around letting go of 2020? Like we'll just kind of generate stuff throughout the week on that. And again, we are spelling all this out in December. And the great thing about doing this in December and having that overarching theme for the year is that no matter what comes up, like say we hit, well, we'll take into example this past year. In March, like our overarching theme this last year was love. And when the pandemic hit in March, I was quarantined in Kenya, and all of a sudden it was, holy Hannah, we have got to pivot. Like so everything we do is real life, person to person. It's traveling, it's airplanes, it's hotels, it's exhibits, it's keynote speaking, it's training one-on-one with artisans in developing countries. Like nothing we do pretty much is virtual except our website and our social media. And so when we hit March, quarantined in Kenya, got home first part of April, all of a sudden what was on my mind? Pivot. And so even though our thing was about to be like Easter and holiday and proms, nobody was going to proms. And so we had to shift, and we had to start targeting our social media into there's a global pandemic, and let's raise awareness around how this pandemic is impacting India. How does it impact Philippines? How is it impacting us here in America? Where is our mindset? Where is our head and our heart? And like, what's going on here? And so we had to kind of shift back. And so despite the fact that we had a plan and we had this year scaled out, we had the flexibility to say, okay, now this world event has happened. So how do we address and tap, oh my gosh, I can't even think of the word, but how do we target our social media stuff to actually reflect what's going on in the world? So people aren't going, oh my gosh, why is she posting this heart? Like we're in the middle of a global pandemic. Like people need to know that you are current with current events. They need to know that your finger is on the pulse of what's happening in the world. And so we always have like probably 4 to 5 days a month where we have flexibility so that we can address things that might be going on that weren't going on, weren't predictable. We didn't have a crystal ball. We had no idea. So, but we had our calendar, you know, we had our blueprint. And so we knew exactly what we had already said, what we had already promoted. We just knew where our followers were and what they would be thinking based on comments. And we were able to kind of shift and transition into different feelings and different modalities of what is our followers, our community now dealing with. So that's the beauty of having content creation and scheduling kind of brainstormed over at the beginning of the year before the year is even like off and running. And again, my time to do that is like December 27th to the 30th, because nothing is really happening. And for me, I mean, we have some family activities that happen, but there's really no business needs. There's no customer orders coming through on our website because Christmas is over and, you know, people are just kind of like not shopping. And so that it's a good time for me. Identify what is a good time for you. Maybe your lull in sales, or maybe your lull in your coaching, or your lull in your small business, or your eatery, your restaurant, your event center, whatever it is. Maybe your lull is March or July when people are gone doing wakeboarding and Lake Powell trips and family reunions and stuff. And if that's the case, then just take advantage of those lulls within your business cycle and start brainstorming and invite people, invite family members, invite friends, neighbors. You don't always have to have it be the employees or interns or, people that know you on the in and out of every day of the business. A great asset is to reach outside of that and get different feedback from individuals who will shed a different light or open up a different perspective for you on your business. Okay, so there is a ton more to cover. There's hashtags and their proper use of it. There is the, oh my gosh, there's so much to cover. So I'm going to cut this for now because I feel like we covered a lot. And we're going to, again, have more of a series. We're going to have more input coming in. Put your questions in the chat. Let us know what questions you have, especially if you have a specific area or thing that you're really struggling with. And we'll address those at the beginning of the next webinar or seminar. I don't know what this is called, a Zoom recording. And we will hopefully get those questions answered. And then we're just going to keep moving forward and going deeper and deeper into social media because there's a lot there. I really want to cover, there was like your platforms, your format, your posting frequency, what generates engagement for you and for them, and collaborating with other social media marketers and people that are on Instagram. So there's just a lot. There's like 10 mistakes, like don't make these mistakes when you're posting. And so I want to cover that. And we have other people in the social media marketing arena that can offer some valuable insight and go down different tangents. So we're going to keep this up and going as a series for you because we want you to have success in your social marketing endeavors. And we know that this social marketing, these platforms, they're going to be game changers for you as a business owner, as a consumer, as a business grower. Like this is where you need to be pivoting into as we're coming down the pike to the end of 2020. We need to adopt and accept this new normal of life. And the reality is, it's going to be a while before things go back, if they even go back. So we need to wrap our heads around this is a new normal and we can have success in it, but we need to arm ourselves with the knowledge of how to tap into these existing platforms that will help us generate community, engagement, connection with our followers, with people that love us and know us, and excuse me, want to support us as we continue to pivot and grow with our business. I'm gonna have to go get some water. So hopefully this helped. And if you have any questions, leave them in the chat and we are gonna follow up with those questions at the opening of our next thing. Thanks a lot for tuning in.